Okay, now we're ready, right? Good morning. It's great to see all your faces this morning. I've been gone for a couple weeks. I kind of missed you all. It's really nice to see you. So welcome to Unity of Lawrence. So in Unity, we begin everything with prayer. So let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us and listen to this prayer. On this day, we dedicate our hearts to peace on earth. We appreciate everyone's spiritual journey and the abundant blessings bestowed upon us. In unity with all who seek to express freedom, joy, and transformation, we welcome our divine inheritance as creators. In harmony with this truth, we live to the best of our ability with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. And so it is. Amen. Our prayer chaplains are trained to hold sacred space and pray one-on-one. If there is anything at all you hold in your heart to be held in prayer, we invite you to see a chaplain after today's service at the front of the sanctuary. These little corners over here, and today Gail and Holly are our prayer chaplains. They'll also pray for you during the week. And so if you want to fill out a prayer request, there's purple slips in the chairs in front of you. And then there's a wooden box outside the foyer. You can put those in there. So they will also visit you in times of need if you would like. So just let the office know. All of your prayers will be held in confidence. So let's join Holly in singing God is My Source. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Give you a chance to do a little bit of moving around this morning. Wake up. Take it up easy. This is good. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. And love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. And now we treat each other, be blessed to each other.
Oh my God, just in time.
So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy is my soul, joy is my power, joy gives me everything. All my blessings, joy gives me everything. Peace is my soul, peace is my power, peace gives me everything. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything. God gives me everything. God gives me everything.
Yay. Okay, so you've all gotten some sugar from our chat, right? And we welcome you at home too, on Facebook and Zoom. I forgot to say that earlier. Hope you got some sugar there too. So let's go over our unity intentions. So let's read these together. So let's start with the founding principle, which says, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. Okay, and now the Unity of Lawrence vision statement. Together, united in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And now the mission statement. Together, we are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. Okay, Kelley Hunt is here. And in case you don't know Kelley, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, a recording artist, a speaker, and a workshop facilitator based here in Lawrence, lucky us. She's currently at work on her 8th album and an additional album which features songs she's written and performed for New Thought churches all throughout the United States, and both of those are expected to be released next year. Welcome, Kelley.
Be blessed, my brothers. Be blessed, my sisters. Be blessed wherever this life leads you. Let me encourage you. Let me speak life to you. You can depend on God to see you through. You can depend on me to pray for you. You might be hurting, you might be crying, you might be worrying, frustrated too. Oh, let me encourage you. Let me speak life to you. You can depend on God to see you through. You can depend on me to pray for you. Pray, I'm gonna keep on praying. can depend on me to pray for you. I see you in the future. You look better. I see you walking in favor and prosperity too. So let me encourage you. Let me speak life to you. You can depend on God to see you through. You can depend on me. Pray for you. Oh, I pray for you. You pray for me. And watch God change things. Oh, I pray for you. You pray for me. Watch God change things. Be blessed, my brothers, my sisters. Be blessed wherever this life leads you. Good morning, Unity of Lawrence.
Good morning.
I'm just happy to be here. I feel like it's perfect timing. Today I'm going to be talking about blessings. Blessings, y'all. I need some. I bet somebody here and somebody watching online could use a few. And sometimes a blessing shows up in our life and it's disguised. And we think, well, that's the last thing a blessing looks like to me. And then down the line, somehow we realize that's exactly what it was. Have you ever had that happen? You're walking through some kind of fire, or, I was saying earlier that in many ways, I say this now, and I know this has been said all throughout our history, these are troubled times. These are troubled waters that we're walking through. And sometimes it feels like, if you've ever walked through water in a pool or a lake or an ocean, there's a little resistance, but you keep going. There's a little resistance, but you keep going. And lately it's felt, as a human being, my spiritual side knows that this isn't so, but my human self struggles sometimes when I feel like that water is rising and I gotta keep walking. There's a little more resistance. And sometimes I forget to let go and let myself float. I remember on occasion when I can that I have the power within me. The source, the creator, the God, however you want to say it, is actually, I am part of that. I am a piece of that. So I don't necessarily need to keep walking and pushing and literally going against that flow. I have the power within me to let go and float and ride that wave. Even when those waves feel like a tsunami and I'm rushed in somewhere and I'm pulled back somewhere else. I'm rushed in and I'm pulled back. Sometimes I go through things and I think, why am I going through this? Where's the blessing in this? Yeah. And later on I see someone doing the same thing. And not only can I relate to what that is, I know what that is, and I can honestly say to that person, listen, I've been there. If you want the inside scoop, just let me know. If you don't, that's fine. The concept of blessing is rooted in the Old Testament, where God promised to bless the chosen people, the Israelites. I want to read a blessing to you right now. And this is from the writer John O'Donohue. This is a blessing for peace. As the fever of the day calms towards twilight, may all that is strained in us come to ease. We pray for all who suffered violence today. May an unexpected serenity surprise them. For those who risk their lives each day for peace, may their hearts glimpse providence at the heart of history. That those who make riches from violence and war might hear in their dreams the cries of the lost. That we might see through our fear of each other a new vision to heal our fatal attraction to aggression. That those who enjoy the privilege of peace might not forget their tormented brothers and sisters. That the wolf might lie down with the lamb. That our swords be beaten into plowshares, and no hurt or harm be done anywhere along the Holy Mountain. That feels very apropos for today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's felt apropos throughout history. To give one's blessing is to be in agreement with them. To ask for one's blessing is to be vulnerable and express a need and say, I need your blessing. Would you give me your blessing? You know, in some of the older traditional ways that I grew up with, if a man and a woman were to be married, the man would sometimes go to the woman's father and say, I'm going to ask your daughter to marry me, and I would like your blessing. Can you imagine what it would feel like to both be that person asking for it and to be the father? And what would it feel like if the father was not in agreement with it? And what kind of sacrifice would that father make to say no? Or to say yes? And let go and go ahead and float on that water. What if a woman was going to marry a woman and she came to that woman's mother and said, I want to marry your daughter. I would love your blessing. What if the mother was struggling with the yes or the no? What would it feel like to be in their place and to choose to be a blessing for the good of all? To choose, despite the questioning that they may have, to say, yes, I bless this union. Yes, I support this, even if they know they have to grow into it. Years and years ago, that was hard for people. I am so encouraged by the generation behind me right now, my son's generation. I'm so encouraged by them. They are such a blessing. Now, I knew he was a blessing when he was born. That kind of goes without saying, oh, it's a blessing, I've got this beautiful child. But now that he's an adult, I stand in awe of how he navigates through his world. And sometimes the world that he and his peers navigate through is very, very challenging in ways that none of us in this room had to experience. Imagine what it feels like to be in those shoes and choose to be a blessing. Blessings are described as positive things in our lives. If you think for a moment, just for a second, what's a blessing in your life? What has been a blessing in your life? Even if you just name one or two things in your mind's eye. Wasn't it something positive? Didn't it feel good? Didn't it feel great to have someone speak life to you? To encourage you? They may see you walking through an ocean of water that's right up to where you can barely breathe. And here comes somebody in a life raft and they go, child, I see you. You're going to make this. Remember, you can float. Come on up. If I can do it, you can do it. Be somebody's blessing. Encourage them. Speak life to them. This morning, I want to speak life to our friend Frank Hayes, who is in the hospital, who is recovering, and who is going to be okay through a terrible, unexpected ordeal. And I'm going to speak life to him right now. Frank, you're going to be all right. We see you whole. I see you well. I see you walking in these doors and sitting down in the seat right next to Patty. I see us all giving you a big hug when you say it's okay. This is going to happen. Let me speak life to you. Let me encourage you. Because you know what? Frank has been a blessing to us. Has he not?
Yeah.
His big old smile when he's here and I see Frank, I think, oh man, there's Frank. There comes some positive light in the room. He's coming right down through those doors and he will again. This is what I know. What blesses one, blesses all. I include myself in that. That's something I heard from my grandmother growing up many, many, many times. And when you're a little kid, you don't necessarily understand what that means. You think, okay, girl, what blesses one, blesses all. And when that becomes rote, it starts to make sense a little bit later. Grace and blessings, I believe, are intertwined. It's grace that we're here. It's by grace that we're here. It's a blessing to be here. I feel that every time I walk in the door. And I see you all walk in, I think, oh, Lord, my blessings. It's going to be a good morning. And blessings don't have to be big old things. They can be small things, like a word of encouragement, like somebody coming up and saying, how are you, and meaning it, and really wanting to know how you are. It can be unexpected abundance. One time when I was on tour, my drummer and I, we were in a little bitty town in Texas. Like we were way down by Alpine, Texas. If you know the state, it's way down there. And it's about this big. And there are a lot of really great music lovers there. We had a ball. But we were stopping at a gas station on the way down, the whole group of us. And we went in, and man, this was a funky old gas station. It was old school. Even the candy on the shelves was old school. And the man behind the counter had been there a long time. He was old school. And we all decided, well, we're going to go buy a bunch of snacks. We're going to just give this guy some business, because he was out in the middle of nowhere. And he was grumpy when we walked in because we looked a little different. And then he just perked right up. We said, we're so glad to see your place. I'm dying for some of those orange circus peanut things. And I bought a bag of them. I said, man, those look good to me. And then just for fun, my drummer and I went to the counter, and we never do this, but we decided we're going to buy ourselves those little scratch-off tickets. We said, oh, which one are we going to buy? There was one, and they all have different names. One was called Top Dog. I said, well, I'll take one of those Top Dogs for $1, please. And I scratched it off, and I won $10. I said, well, hot dog, I'll have another thing of those peanuts. It was fun to be part of that whole thing. It was fun to be part of it. How do you feel when you're encouraging to somebody else? How does it make you feel? Let's say you've walked through a fire that day, and you haven't felt great, and then you see an opportunity to help somebody that they're welcome, they welcome it, and you go in there, and pretty soon your fire goes back over here. It's not always gone, but you know it's there, but you set it aside for a second, and you walk through and you see that person, you put it out there, and you go, I've been there, come on, I can show you. Let me encourage you, let me speak life to you. How do you feel when you show mercy? And you show kindness. Isn't that a blessing? Doesn't that feel good? At the end of every unity service, really across the whole United States and probably the world, I've been part of a lot of services all over our country. And there's the prayer for protection at the end of it. And I think, I like to call that a blessing. It's a reminder. Things that we say by rote. I want to just talk just for a moment about that specific blessing of hearing that at the end of a service. There was a man named James Dillett Freeman, born in 1912. He passed in 2003. He was a poet, author, and lecturer, and he was a Unity minister. He served as director of the Unity Ministerial Program, which is today's Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute. as he was also director of Silent Unity. And he was asked during World War II to write a prayer. Silent Unity has always written a special Christmas prayer service just for Silent Unity workers, just for those people. And in 1940, he was asked to prepare this service. And he says, "We have never before needed a prayer for protection, but in 1940, we needed one. So I wrote one to go with the Christmas service. What I wrote was a little 4-letter verse that said, the light of Christ directs me, the love of Christ enfolds me, the power of Christ protects me, the presence of Christ upholds me." I had hardly finished this Christmas service before Silent Unity came to me again and asked me to write a protection pamphlet that we could send to people. So I did. It was called His Protecting Spirit. They told me they wanted affirmative prayers for protection on the back page. Among these was the verse from the 23rd Psalm, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." One of the young women who worked in Silent Unity was reading my manuscript as I wrote it, and as she finished it, she came up to me and she said, "Jim, if I were a woman in England and they were dropping bombs on my roof, or if I were a soldier and someone was pointing a loaded gun at me, I wouldn't want to feel like I was walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Can't you do better than that?" I love this woman. I don't know who she was, but thank you very much, whoever you were. And I thought, you want me to do better than the 23rd Psalm? You have to be out of your mind. But rolling around in the back of my mind was the little verse that I had written as a prayer for protection at Christmas. I had written it just for Silent Unity only. But now it came rolling up to the front of my mind and demanded that I pay attention to it. It enticed me to see what I could make of it. First, I took the rhymes from it. I felt it would be more universally received if it was not a rhyme. Then I changed Christ to God. It had been Christ because it was a Christmas prayer, but I felt if we were going to send it around the world, God might be more acceptable to more people. Think about that. Around our world right now, in our neighborhoods, in our country, in other countries around the world. He thought of this back then. So it became, the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. That's the way we first printed it, he says. And then a line came to me that I felt would make the prayer even more powerful, and that line was, "Wherever I am, God is." I added it as the 5th line. The prayer for protection first appeared as a 4-line prayer in 1941, but when we reprinted it in 1943, it appeared in the form that it has been ever since. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. That's the original prayer for protection. Last year when I got a phone call, I was making lunch at the house and I was expecting a friend to come over, and my husband was on his way home from running errands. And I was in the middle of making a sandwich, and I got a call from my husband, and he had been in a serious wreck, and it had totaled our vehicle. And I could tell by the way he was speaking that he wasn't tracking as well as he usually does. He said, "Where are you?" I'm at. "Are you okay?" I dropped the sandwich stuff. I jumped in the car. He managed to tell me the general location. I drove safely, but very, very quickly, to the spot. And all the way there, I said the prayer for protection, not only for myself, but for him. all the way there. It kept me from speeding too fast. It kept me from leaving my body and not being grounded to drive safely. It kept me visualizing that he was going to be all right, which eventually he was. But that's a tool that was written way back in 1940. And in 2022, it was still serving me well, and it's serving me well today. So learn to recognize the blessings in your life in real time, right here, right now. Okay, so think of something that's just blessing your socks off. What is it? Think to yourself, boy, it is this, it's that, it's this other. And think about ways you can be a blessing to somebody else if they're open to it. You can even do it long distance. Shoot, you don't even have to be in the same room with somebody to be a blessing to them. It's a blessing to somebody to have a pair of shoes. Do you have shoes on your feet this morning? Yeah. It's a blessing to somebody to have other people around them to encourage them, to lift them up, to help them. Do you have somebody that helps you? It's a blessing to know that later today, you're going to get to eat. That's a blessing. There are people in this town who, through no fault of their own, are not going to have one meal today. It's a blessing to have rest. You get a safe place to rest. There are not bombs falling on us today, by the grace of God. We are here in this building, and as far as I know, we're safe. That's a blessing. During the pandemic, the blessing of community and human contact became more apparent, as did simple things like being able to go to a restaurant, watching a sporting event, attending a concert. So just remember, there's somebody who is longing for the life that you have. So when we have complaints and we have problems, we all do. That's life. Yeah, we walk through that water. Sometimes it's harder than others. But there's somebody right here in Lawrence, Kansas, who is longing for a day of your life, the way you get to live it. So I want to tell you a story. There's a little boy who wanted to meet God. And he knew it was a long trip to where God lives. So he packed a suitcase with cookies and 6 cans of lemonade, and he started on his journey. And when he had gone about 3 blocks, he met an old woman. She was sitting in the park just staring at some pigeons. And the boy sat down next to her and opened his suitcase. He was about to take a drink from his lemonade when he noticed that the old lady looked hungry. So he offered her a cookie. She gratefully accepted it, and she smiled at him. Her smile was so pretty. But that boy wanted to see it again, so he offered her a lemonade. And again, she smiled at him. The boy was delighted. They sat there all afternoon, eating and smiling, but they never said a word. As it grew dark, the boy realized how tired he was. And he got up to leave, but before he had gone more than a few steps, he turned around and he ran back to the old woman and he gave her a big hug. And she gave him her biggest smile ever. When that boy opened the door to his own house a short time later, his mother was surprised by the look of joy on his face. She asked him, "What did you do today that made you so happy?" He replied, "I had lunch with God." But before his mother responded, he said, "You know what? She's got the most beautiful smile I've ever seen." Meanwhile, the old woman, also radiant with joy, returned to her home. Her son was stunned by the look of peace on her face, and he asked Mother, "What did you do today that made you so happy?" She replied, "I ate cookies in the park with God." However, before her son responded, she added, "You know, he's much younger than I expected." And too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn life around. And I would add, all of which are blessings. I love the idea of I had lunch with God. What a blessing for both of them. Have you ever been asked to say grace or give a blessing or be part of bestowing that upon a couple or an event or a family thing, and maybe thought, ooh, I'm not qualified for that. You go on and bless yourselves, you know. And you know, we are qualified. One time when Reverend Darlene was the minister here, she and I and one other person were going to another small church who was in need of food for their congregants. It's a very small church here in town, and they were in need. And a lot of different churches were putting together food, actually making casseroles, making food that could be delivered already made. So she and I and one of the congregants packed it up, and we went over to this little church, and we brought it in. You could see others had been there too, and they had a lot of food there to distribute to the families that really, really needed it right now. They needed that food. And we walked in, and Reverend Darlene said, Unity Church of Lawrence, and here's some food. We're happy to participate. Is there anything else we can do for you? And the woman that was there, she said, well, I would like to pray with you before you leave. And we're like, hey, we're in. Great, let's go. So we all got in prayer circle, and she said, in her own way, she said, Lord, bless them real good. And we said, amen. That's all we need to hear. You are qualified to give a blessing. You are qualified to speak life to somebody, to encourage somebody. It doesn't have to be fancy or made of specific phrases or words. Lord, bless them real good. Be a blessing. Be an active witness. Listen. Sometimes you don't need to say a word. Sometimes you just need to listen. There's a song that says, people all over the world, join hands. Form a love train. We need a big, big, big love train right now. We need a big one. People all over the world. I like to end with another quote from John O'Donohue. And he says, whenever one person takes another into the care of their heart, they have the power to bless. A blessing is a circle of light drawn around a person to protect, heal, and strengthen. Life is a constant flow of emergence. The beauty of blessing, I love this, the beauty of blessing is its belief that it can affect what unfolds. Regardless of how we configure the eternal, the human heart continues to dream of a state of wholeness, a place where everything comes together, where loss will be made good, where blindness will transform into vision, where damage will be made whole. To invoke a blessing is to call on some of that wholeness upon a person right now. People all over the world. I see you. I see you whole. I see you well. I see you perfect in every way. I see myself as a vessel for the Creator that lives within me. I see myself letting go of the hard walk through the water and floating and understanding I can't fix everything. Sometimes I can't fix anything, but what I can do is speak life, encourage, do what is mine to do right here, right now. I can't fix the world. That's not mine to do. But I can send a boatload of blessings out in the way that I can do it. The way that I do it in the world is through music. I've known it since I was 3 years old. I've known it. And that's what I'm here to do for you. And if anything that I've said today resonates with you, I'm grateful for that. It's my own perspective. I'm grateful for the unity movement. I'm grateful for each and every one of you in this room and for everyone that's watching online. I'm grateful for so much. I feel blessed real good right now. I just do. How about you? You feel blessed real good? So as we get ready to go into meditation, I'd like us to take a nice deep breath. And as many of those that feels right to you, and as I walk over to that keyboard, I want to invoke the power of our Creator to remind us in this moment, right now, how very, very blessed we are, and to send that love and blessing out into our world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, the spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice, the spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. As we settle into this place, there is all my power in the universe, for every and for all. We see that circle of light surrounding us, protecting our minds, our bodies, our spirit souls. We say the same for our brothers, our sisters, our others. The golden circle of impenetrable protection, of love and light. We surround our periphery. We are the heart. We are the hands. We are the voice of spirit. We are a blessing to this world. we slowly come back to this room, or wherever you are. We take a deep when we're ready to open our eyes. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit. Here on who we are, all we do is a blessing to this world. It's a blessing to this world. See people all over the world join hands, start a love train all over the world. Join hands, start a love train. Well, the next time that we make, we'll be in time. Tell all the folks in Russia, China too. Don't you know that it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding on through. Well, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train all over the world. Join hands, start a love train out and tell all your brothers and sisters in Africa. Tell all of the folks that Egypt is too. Please don't miss this parade at the station. No, 'cause if you miss it, I'm really sorry for you. Well, start a love train, seated train. Start a love train.
We're a seated train. All of us are dancing and playing.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Start a love train, you all in the world, yeah, join hands. Start a love train, you all over the world, join hands. Start a love train, you all over the world, join hands. Start a love train. Woo!
proven that love is more powerful than anything else in this world today, right? So thank you so much. Thank you all so much for feeling the love and expressing it. I was thinking about blessings when Kelley was talking, and I feel like I have about 1,000 a day, you know? But last night, I want to tell you something real quick. I went to the Amy Grant concert in Wichita and took a real close friend of mine, and it was wonderful. But anyway, when we got back in my car to come home, there was about a quarter of a tank of gas. And I knew, oh, we'll have to stop sometime. And she was like, well, why don't we get out of the city and we'll stop? And I said, sure, let's do that. Does anybody else's gas tank, the last quarter, go down fast? Right? Because in no time at all, it was like, meow. And we're in the black abyss of like north of Wichita for a while. It's like there's like nothing there, right? So I was driving, I was like, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, you know, and I was like, oh please, oh please, oh please, let me be gas stations, you know. Anyway, it got, you know, down to E, and there was a gas station. So that felt like a huge blessing, right? Because I thought, I'm going to have my friend and I out walking along Interstate 35 or wherever we were in the dark. Anyway, so the blessings are everywhere, right? All the time. We just have to catch them. So let's think about that. And as our ushers come forward, let's think about everything that we're thankful for, okay? And join me now, because we're going to hold our gifts to the community in our hands and love in our hearts. So together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I give and all that I receive. Amen. So it is. Okay, now we're going to sing Where I Sit is Holy.
Where I sit is holy, holy is the ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit circles all around me. Who I am is holy, holy are we. Body, thought, emotion, connecting you and me. Great Spirit circles all around me. What I do is holy, holy is my way. Work and play together, celebrate the day. Great Spirit circles all around me. Great Spirit circles all around me. Great Spirit circles all around me.
Here's our prayer of thanks. Please listen. We are grateful and we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We bless the givers who give their time, their talent, and treasure. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth only to return again and again. And so it is. Amen. So I'd like to express a special welcome to those of you who are guests today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like a welcome packet, we have those out in the foyer to learn more. Please join us and God for lunch today. God is going to be at with our lunch bunch at 2525 Iowa Street. Everybody's welcome. It's a wonderful fellowship time. Francesca Vance is continuing her Italian language classes on the first and third Sunday afternoons. So you're going to meet today at 4 here in the fellowship hall. And then remember, open meditation meets on Tuesdays at 6:30. The Unity Talk for October 20th has been canceled, so the next scheduled one will be Friday night, November 3rd with Dan Wildcat. And Holly has an announcement for us.
So out in the foyer, there are some flyers. There is a one-day retreat next Saturday, and it's about 20 minutes north of Lawrence here. It's a very beautiful place, and I'm going to be doing the sound healing portion in the afternoon. And throughout the day, there is all kinds of really amazing things from different facilitators. One of the highlights will be to create a large flower and natural object mandala during the day. This is partly a silent retreat, so if you're looking for a getaway to really go within, this is an awesome opportunity. The registration ends tonight, so yeah, if you're interested in that, please take a flyer. There is a sliding scale that starts at $40, so it's very affordable retreat for you, so check that out if you like.
Thank you, Holly. All right, we want to save the day for a poetry night with our own Diane Silver and Phil Roger. That's Friday, November 10th at 7 o'clock. And see Phil for more information. Phil's back there. We invite you to join us next Sunday when Phil Roger brings us the message, The Ups and Downs of Shadowboxing. I'm intrigued just by that title. Special music will be a Star Sister Revival. Oh boy, what a treat. All right, it's time to rise and as you're able, that is, to sing the peace song.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, unite in harmony. Let us talk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, let's say our prayer of protection together.
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah, there's a hot man. See.